Welcome back to the Sideline Sports Show. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, and we are going to be going back to baseball predictions. And for today, I'm going to be covering the AL Central. We're going to go over how the teams finished last year, and what I think, how I think the division will shape up in the shortened 2020 season. However short that is. We will, kind of discuss about where I think the teams stack up in terms of who the team to beat is, and all that. Okay, so real quick before we start getting in depth into the rosters, I wanted to just take a quick look at how the AL Central shaped up last season. We had the Twins won the division, followed by the Indians, the White Sox, and then the Royals and the Tigers kind of rounded out the bottom of that division. I mean, for the longest time, it really seemed like it was the Twins division to lose. They won by such a significant margin. And the Indians just didn't play great baseball. And between the first two teams, and then the bottom three, it wasn't even close. You figure you see that the White Sox were 28 and a half games out of first place, 20 out of second. The Royals 42 games out of first place, and 34 out of the second place, and then the Tigers obviously had an absolutely atrocious season. I think statistically they had the worst season, and I think what really kind of hurt the Indians down the stretch was the fact that they went 4-6 over their last 10, where they could have made they could have made up some ground, maybe even in the wild card. The Twins played really well down the stretch. You see, they played 8-2 in the last 10. And then if we head on over here to the wild card standings, in the American League, obviously your wild card teams ended up being Oakland and Tampa Bay, with the Indians 3 games out. Who knows if they played better baseball down the stretch what would have happened, but I think what definitely really cost them was the fact that they didn't play clean baseball down the stretch. They lost 4. They played under 500 to end the season. So I think that most certainly was a factor which I think hurt them in the long run, obviously. So now for the 2020 season, we're going to go one by one the rosters in the order that I think they're going to finish, and we're going to start with the Chicago White Sox, who I think had by far the best offseason of any team. So let's go take a look at who the White Sox have right now. So the White Sox have a pretty solid bullpen with Aaron Bummer, Dylan Case, Steve Cishek. Alex Colomé can throw the ball really well if he's on. Jimmy Cordero throws absolute petrol, but the problem is he gets hurt a lot. Carson Fulmer coming out of the back end of that bullpen with Kelvin Herrera, who has been hit or miss. But the thing to really look at with this rotation is the fact that they have veteran pieces like Gio Gonzalez, Dallas Keuchel, mixed in with these young arms like Lucas Giolito and Reynaldo Lopez. I mean, Reynaldo Lopez, he has 4 years experience, but he's still only 26. I think those kind of veteran presence can help a rotation like that, especially winners like Keuchel and Gonzalez. I think that their bullpen could use some work. I think that they lack, a lot of the guys that they have in their bullpen haven't performed since they came to the White Sox. You look at Kelvin Herrera, was absolute lights out with the Royals, but has struggled somewhat as the closer over here. Steve Cishek should be something, should be a pretty interesting. See how he rebounds, because he's had some really good years and had some bad years. This signing right here, Yasmani Grandal, I think is what won them the offseason because they got arguably the best catcher on the free agent market, a guy who can play really solidly defensively, but also is a switch hitter who's got power from both sides of the plate. I think that addition to the roster really has helped them fortify a lineup that maybe lacked just one more bat, and I think they most certainly picked up that bat. But they also made other additions, especially in the outfield. I think that the additions they made in the outfield were really, really strong and are going to help propel them in a relatively weak AL Central. I think that you have two teams that for sure are going to be at the bottom, and then you have a team like the Indians who've been in the middle, mixed in with the Royals who were in the wild card game, then they were in last place to back in first place. So really kind of that team up there is hit or miss. James McCann is a really solid backup catcher. He really hasn't hit. He's a defensive catcher, but he's got a little bit of pop. I do think that he is going to complement Grandal as the backup catcher. And then over here, Jose Abreu playing first base. I think he's just he's a really solid first base option, a good bat in the middle of that order, who can hit for average, hit for power. He's not going to strike out a ton. Tim Anderson came out of nowhere last year to play really solid shortstop. Be interesting to see how he rebounds this year, or see how he comes along this year. And you have Danny Mendick over there. He's probably going to end up being the second baseman, having Tim Anderson play shortstop. I think that Danny Mendick, he's not there in the long run. He's just kind of a layover until they get Nick Madrigal coming up. Or in the minor leagues, they do have LJ Mazzilli, who is can play a little bit of everywhere. But LJ is a little bit older, 30 years old. But he can play second base, he can play third base, he can play in the outfield for you. But interesting to see where he starts here. If he starts the year in AAA or he's up in the big leagues. Obviously, he's not on the 40-man, so it's going to look like he's going to start in the minor leagues. And this is what sets them apart, is the youth in their outfield and the depth that they have. Adam Engel really doesn't hit. He's going to play probably top 10 defense in center field. Leury Garcia has been in the big leagues for what seems like forever. And he just he's a good role player. He can hit. He can handle the bat. He's not going to drop tanks. But these three, I should say, are probably, that's the outfield of the future. Luis Robert, Nomar Mazara, and Eloy Jimenez. Eloy came out last year, had a sensational rookie year. Well, just real quick, let's take a look at his 2019 season. If this is going to load. Here we go. Eloy Jimenez, 2019, 31 home runs with a 267 average, not bad. 134 strikeouts to 30 walks. That strikeout to walk ratio's not the greatest, but then again, he is a rookie and he did put up 31 home runs. He had a really, really solid rookie year in 122 games. He hit for a decent average. I think, we can look to see maybe that average increase, see what he does over the course of a full season. But I think overall he made a really good first impression in his rookie year. And then you have Nomar Mazara, a guy who's got power that I think Nomar Mazara has started to come into his own. If you see here, he's got 4 years of major league experience and he's only 25. I think he started to kind of get his feet wet. I think when he was in Texas, they kind of pushed him maybe a little bit quicker than he should have been. I don't think he was fully ready to be a starting right fielder when he was 21, 22. But I think he started to figure things out offensively, and the guy's got power like you wouldn't believe. The guy hit 505-foot home run and hit home runs consistently over 480 feet, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then Luis Robert, rookie, highly touted. I don't know if this will be the year he makes it to the big leagues, but he's going to be here pretty soon. And I think these three right here are the outfield of the future for the Chicago White Sox. And I really think that they're going to have a very successful offensive season. And you get the veteran bat of Edwin Encarnacion, who really just seems to hit no matter where he goes. The Mariners, the Yankees, the Blue Jays, everywhere he's gone, he's hit. So I see the White Sox. I wouldn't call them the favorite for first place between them and the Twins. I think that they both are going to be competing for first place. And then you're going to have and then we'll get into the other three teams. But speaking of Minnesota, team that came off 101 wins last year, won the division, were knocked out by the Yankees were knocked out by they were knocked out by the Yankees last year. I don't know what I was thinking. They were knocked out by the Yankees. I think that their pitching is the problem. I think that what sets them back is that they lack kind of that real top of the rotation guy. Jose Barrios has made strides. He's sometimes been that guy for them, but other times he hasn't. Randy Dobnik was a guy who was driving for Uber and then was starting in the postseason, so he really hasn't been completely proven. Tyler Duffy in the bullpen, big right-hander, throws pretty hard. I mean, I think he's pretty good. Same with Trevor May. I think both of them are kind of the same arms. You got veteran presence in Rich Hill, a guy who's going to go out there and he's going to top out at 89, but he's going to induce weak contact. Kenta Maeda is an interesting piece. He can start for you. He can come out of the bullpen. I think that he's going to be something that up there they can kind of use interchangeably. Rocco Baldelli can kind of plug him in where he sees fit. Jake Odorizzi kind of seems like he's had a resurgence somewhat in Minnesota. He's pitched really good game. He's pitched really well for the most part. But like every pitcher, he's had his outings where he's struggled. He's definitely not the ace type. I think the ace title would be towards Jose Barrios. Michael Pineda, he's just he's got a lot of problems going on between PEDs. And Taylor Rogers is their best pitcher out of the bullpen. Left-hander, throws upwards of 98 miles an hour. Really good swing and miss stuff. I think he's the leader. He's going to be the guy that holds down that bullpen. And you got Devin Smeltzer, he's a left-handed pitcher. He's going to be like Rich Hill. He's not going to blow velo past everybody, but he'll be able to induce some weak contact. He did struggle a little bit last year, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Cody Stashek threw the ball pretty well last year, so I think that their bullpen is lacking maybe one or two pieces. You got veterans like Tyler Clippard, who's either been lights out or has been terrible, and then obviously Sergio Romo. I think that this is a good fit. He can kind of eat some innings for them up there. The catching position, Mitch Garver, came out of nowhere, was probably one of the top offensive catchers last year. Don't know if he'll be able to repeat that, but he's most certainly not a defensive-minded catcher. I think Alex Avila, I think it depends on how Mitch Garver hits. If Mitch Garver doesn't replicate what he did last year, I wouldn't be surprised if you see more platooning between him and Avila, who Avila can, don't get me wrong, Alex Avila can handle the bat, but he's just more thought of as a defensive-first catcher. So, I think that that's going to be their catching core. Williams Astudillo, I don't think is going to be their catcher for the future. I think that guy's going to be a third baseman if he plays. I mean, he's 28 years old, but everyone loves this guy. In the infield, you have Adrianza, who has been in the league forever, but he's not moving from shortstop. Luis Ariz is going to be playing second base. Josh Donaldson just signed that massive contract, so Donaldson will be their everyday third baseman. Nick Gordon, D. Gordon's brother, I think. He's not going to. Jorge Polanco, Josh Donaldson, Luis Ariz, and Miguel Sano is that infield. Sano playing first base. And kind of being the middle of the order bat. He's just got to cut down on the strikeouts like a lot of power guys do. But I think for the most part, he'll be able to play some good, play a decent first base for you, hit the ball over the fence 30-something times. I think him and Donaldson are going to be a good 1-2 punch in that in the lineup with Arise leading off, and you get a switch hitter like Polanco hitting 2, maybe even 3. Byron Buxton should look to have a kind of a resurgence. He's been hitter. He's going to play a good center field. It's just a matter of can he hit. Sometime he's had flashes where he's looked like he could be a 300 hitter and a very good leadoff hitter. At times when he should still be in triple or double A. Jake Cave I don't see getting a lot of playing time behind Max Kepler and Eddie Rosario. These two left-handed bats are going to be kind of mixed in there, I think, with Donaldson, Garver, and Sano. Marwin Gonzalez, I don't see him starting anywhere. I see him being a very valuable bench piece. And as people go down with injuries, Marwin Gonzalez, because that guy can play literally any position on the field. But I don't see him. He's very good at every position, but he's not great at one. And his bat isn't electric enough where I think as electric as some of these other guys, where I think that he could slide in and play a better or hit better than some of these other guys. And then the DH, the ageless Nelson Cruz. This guy, all he does is rake. Can't play the outfield anymore, but all he's going to do is drop bombs. So yeah, I think that the Minnesota Twins still have a good team, but I think their biggest question mark is their pitching, and I think it was the biggest question mark last year. Guys kind of maybe played above what they could, but it'll be interesting to see if the additions they made, such as Rich Hill, Kenta Maeda this offseason, if they can complement the guys that they already have and help push them to another division title. But I have the Twins and the White Sox kind of competing for the first place crown. I think they're going to be the team to beat. One of them is going to be the team to beat in the league. They're going to be the teams to beat, finishing 1 and 2. Just who finishes where is going to be a question. Kind of the definition of a middle of the road third place team in all of baseball would be the Cleveland Indians. Indians. I'll go back here to the regular season for the load. Indians finished in second place last year. I don't see them necessarily regressing. I maybe see them regressing a little bit. I mean, they did play pretty decent baseball, but I maybe see them being an 87-win team. I'd say them maybe being a 90-win team at most. I don't see them falling as much as I see the White Sox kind of just improving that much while the Indians are staying the same. I just think the Indians, the White Sox got that much better that they leapfrogged the Indians as competing with the Twins for first place. Shane Bieber is a guy that just kind of came out of nowhere, led the league, I think, in complete games and shutouts. He's going to go and take the ball, and he's their ace. I don't care what anybody says. With Corey Kluber gone, even though they still have Mike Clevenger, Shane Bieber is the ace of that team. He's leading the division. Carlos Carrasco is supposed to be out till beginning of July with an elbow issue. He just obviously is coming off leukemia. He had an elbow injury. But with the season resuming beginning of June, he's probably not going to miss that much of the year, which is good. Emmanuel Clase, who was kind of the piece that everybody, the guy in the Corey Kluber trade, which I don't think the Indians won. I think the Indians kind of got screwed because they traded the best pitcher on their roster for this individual who gets suspended for PEDs, so he's going to be out until September. Not sure how the league is going to handle suspensions, if they're going to give the players credit for these games. Because he served an 80 games, because he was sentenced 80-game suspension, I'm not sure if they're factoring in the games that he would have missed. I don't think so. So if they play 82 games, he's probably going to be eligible for the last 2. But that'll be something that we'll have to see what happens. Mike Clevenger is going to be the number 2 in that rotation. Brad Hand's going to be locking down the back end of this rotation. No idea who Sam Henges is. He's kind of just there competing for that rotation spot. Tristan McKenzie, a rookie, heard good things about him, can throw the ball pretty well. Oliver Perez has been in the league for 33 million years. He'll eat some innings out of the bullpen. They really just don't have that bullpen piece that is going to make a huge difference. You forget they have Zach Plesac, who probably will compete for a rotation spot. I just don't think they have a guy in the bullpen who's going to come out and get any, like, if you look at a lot of the good teams, they have a guy in their bullpen that can just go out and get guys out. With the Twins, they got Taylor Rogers. Kelvin Herrera should be that guy for the White Sox. You look at the Brewers, they have Josh Hader. For the Nationals, it was Daniel Hudson or it was Sean Doolittle. Catching position, they bring in Sandy Leon, who's pretty much just Chris Sale's personal catcher's switch hitter. Hit a little bit. Roberto Perez, Gold Glove defense, came out of nowhere to hit a couple years, but he's not he's not going to be a competing for the top catcher or top hitting catcher. Infield, Cesar Hernandez, Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, Carlos Santana. I think it's pretty straightforward. Those guys are the three. These three guys can at any point be competing for some of the top players at their position. Carlos Santana was probably their best hitter last year. Lindor is just a top 3 shortstop in all of baseball. And Jose Ramirez got off to a slow start last year, but I do think that he's entering the prime of his career. I think he's going to have a bounce back, and when he's right, he finished in the top 3 in MVP for a reason. The guy can play. The outfield, I think, is where they have their most question marks. Defensively, their outfield's not good. They have Bradley Zimmer, but that guy hasn't been healthy for 3 years. Domingo Santana and Franmil Reyes are going to hit. They're not going to play good defense for you. Tyler Naquin hasn't been healthy. Jordan Luplow is going to hit for some power. That's about it. Delino DeShields hasn't hit in the big league. So I just see the Indians as being that middle-of-the-road team that just kind of cruises to a clear third place. Okay, guys, so right about this point in the video, the actual video portion of the recording was corrupted, doesn't work anymore. So the only way I could get this up for you guys to see would be to detach the audio, and so all you guys are going to get for the rest of the video is the audio. I apologize for the inconveniences, but technology at its finest right here. Thank you. Though Cleveland Indians kind of being that middle of the road team, like I said, we got they don't have a solid offense outside of Lindor, Ramirez, and Santana. Their outfield kind of is not well rounded. They have too many outfielders and too many that don't play well on both sides of the baseball. Domingo Santana is probably going to be the designated hitter, I would say, as he plays the worst defense between Franmil and him. I see Franmil being the right fielder, and then honestly, the rest of the outfield is a question mark. Delino DeShields will play pretty good center field. Dude can't hit. Jake Bowers, haven't seen enough of him to really know what his game's all about. Greg Allen, I mean, he's just kind of an average on both sides of the baseball. So I really don't see there being. I don't see them being tanking. But I definitely don't see them they're kind of at this weird middle ground where they're not bad enough to rebuild, but they're not good enough to compete for a division title and a playoff spot. Now moving on to the 4th place finisher, the Kansas City Royals. Now, Kansas City, it says Chance Adams, the guy was with the Yankees for a million years. They tried to give him some chances in the big leagues, and he always was terrible. Danny Duffy is the best pitcher that they have, and he's nothing special. They got Jake Junis, Ian Kennedy out of the bullpen. He'll be all right. Brad Keller, kind of 8 innings. Tim Hill, funky lefty out of the bullpen. They don't really have a good starting staff. They have Mike Montgomery coming. He's probably the biggest winner that they have on that roster coming, winning a World Series. You just see them trying to get younger. They have the big contract to Ian Kennedy on their roster, which they probably should try and get rid of. And I mean, just their catcher, Salvi Perez, is coming off Tommy John surgery, missed the whole year. He's an impact bat offensively and defensively. Hunter Dozier can swing it. Mike Alfranco was once one of the top prospects for the Phillies, kind of fallen off. Whit Merrifield's going to hit 300 for you. He's going to walk a lot. He's going to get on base, steal some bags. He can play center field for you. He can play second base. Adalberto Mondesi, guys, played since he was 20. He's a speedster. That being said, I don't think that he really he's not going to hit the ball out of the ballpark, and I don't think he'll hit that for that high of an average. But we shall see. He'll probably go out and prove me wrong now. Alex Gordon's just an aging contract. Their outfield really doesn't have a lot. They have Brett Phillips, but he'll throw the ball 105 miles an hour to home plate. Won't hit very much. Bubba Starling, didn't see enough of him. Ryan McBroom, same thing. Jorge Soler led the league in home runs. He's got the DH spot pretty much wrapped up. Can play some outfield for you, but I just see the Royals just not quite near the bottom of their rebuilding. They still need to accumulate some prospects, so I don't see them doing very well next year. But you can tell they are trying to get younger. Outside of really Ian Kennedy and Alex Gordon, who've been in the league for 13 years, they got guys 1, 3, rookie. 2, 4, 4, rookie, 6, 3. But, I mean, these 6 years have been spent up and down between the big leagues and the minor leagues, too. Salvi's been here for a while. But, yeah, I mean, they're trying to get younger. And I don't see them being good for a while. But they do have enough pieces where they should be able to win games. They have Whit Merrifield and Mondesi. Whit Merrifield was a late bloomer. He's been in the league for 4 years, but he's already 31. And I just see, I think the rebuild will be centered around and how good Mondesi becomes, because I don't see Merrifield's not going to be. He's going to be aging by the time they're really starting to hit their stride. So they just kind of they have some good pieces here, but nothing. It's relatively short term. I don't see them in the long run really being able to make a difference and make a run at the division for 4 or 5 years, especially the rate the White Sox, Twins, and Indians, and the Twins are at right now. And finally, rounding out the division is the Detroit Tigers. They're just a bad baseball team. They have a bunch of guys. They're trying to get younger. Their best pitchers, Matt Boyd. I don't know how the trade deadline's going to work. If the season was, I predicted he would have been moved by the trade deadline. They're just trying to get younger. Buck Farmer, he's expiring if they can get rid of him. Joe Jimenez they got a lot of. Daniel Norris is an older pitcher. So is Nova. Those guys kind of came in to eat innings this year while they wait for guys like Casey Mize down in the minor leagues to really start getting ready to go and be just impact pitchers. This Jordan Zimmerman, I bet the Tigers really regret this signing. They signed him to a gigantic free agent contract, and he has been less than average in his time in Detroit. So, I mean, there's definitely some... the pitching is not good. Nova is probably the most solidified name they got. They do have Mike Fulmer. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just a team that. Oops, what am I doing? It's just a team that I don't really see being able to compete anytime soon. I don't see them being at the level that a team like the Twins, the White Sox, or even the Indians are. I don't know where Mike Fulmer is. I just had to look it up to make sure it wasn't. Michael Fulmer is a former Rookie of the Year, but we don't know what's going to happen. Their bullpen is bad. They're just trying to get young. They got Heimer Candelario. C.J. Cron was a good in Minnesota. He'll be a good addition. Nico Goodrum, same thing. Dewell Lugo. I mean, their starting catcher is going to be Austin Romine, who I loved when he was with the Yankees, but in a backup role. Scope was a 1-year signing. He's not really part of their... I don't know why they signed so many... I don't know why they signed a guy like Jonathan Scope. It depends. Who do you want to play second base? Are you looking at Harold Castro or Mr. Alcantara or Dewell Lugo? Are you looking for them to play second base or no? Because the only way that they're going to get experience and they're going to get better is by playing at the big league level. and now is a perfect time to get those guys up to the big leagues. I liked the Cameron Maybin signing as a veteran in the outfield. He's kind of just goes out and plays wherever he goes. Victor Reyes. The problem with them is they're not young enough. They got guys that are young-ish with low experience, but they're 26, 27 years old. You got a 24-year-old rookie. So Miggy Cabrera, they're just riding out that contract. He's been great for them. But when they sign him to that contract, that's why teams don't do long-term contracts, is because they still have him on the hook for $17-something million, even though his production has been in the toilet and he hasn't been a difference maker for this team. But there's not much to say about them because they're either a bunch of failed. I feel bad for Tigers fans because a lot of the guys they bring up or some of their prospects turn out to be busts. They fail. They're highly touted, but you bring them up like guys like Matt Boyd who had flashes, or Michael Fulmer had flashes being good, but it was just flashes. Daniel Norris has gotten rocked in his big league career. It's not a great time to be a Detroit Tigers fan. So, with that being said, though, if you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to let me know. Hopefully you guys will stick around for Friday's episode. So I'm kind of doing a new format where the first 3 videos of the week will go up on Thursday, and then I will put up a 4th kind of different video on Friday. So 3 videos will come out tomorrow. That being said, though, I did have a AP exam on Monday, so I didn't record an episode. So there'll be 2 episodes dropping tomorrow, and then I have another AP Friday, so you won't get one Friday. But starting next week, that'll be the schedule where you get Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday's videos will come out on that Thursday, and then there'll be a 4th kind of different. Maybe I'll do like I did that deep dive in Baseball Reference, or MVP debate, or maybe I'll go and I'll search and find the most random player in the world. I'll do like a random name generator or something. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and you guys will stick around for the next video that comes out. Thank you guys so much for watching.